Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Cheap Shots. This series is dedicated to showing you how to save money on the miniatures wargaming hobby. And on today's episode, we're doing something a little bit different. Most of the time whenever I do a Cheap Shots video, I usually do painting tutorials in order to help you save money on the miniatures wargaming hobby. Because aside from purchasing miniatures, paint, and hobby supplies, tools, etc., those are the number one ways that most people actually spend money on the miniatures wargaming hobby. In fact, in some cases, most people actually spend more money on paint than they actually do on the miniatures that they purchase to paint with. So that's the reason why I like to focus on paint, because I feel if you actually are a painter and you do paint up miniatures, that is the fastest and easiest way that you can actually save a lot of money for yourself, up to like hundreds of dollars in some cases, like up to $200, $300 in some cases. It's insane about how much money people actually you could actually save if you decide to use like some cheap craft paints that are available at your local Walmarts or at your local Hobby Lobbies. So today's episode is a little bit different, and the reason why it is different is because we're actually taking a look at miniatures. I've been actually inspired for my next couple of Cheap Shot videos by a viewer of mine named Dr. Drybrush. Dr. Drybrush suggested that I should actually talk about how to use different miniature kits and use them for different gaming systems. And that's what I'm going to be doing for these next couple of Cheap Shots, is showing some ways that you can use one set of miniatures for multiple games and how you can save money doing that. And on today's episode, what we're going to take a look at is this group over here. These are the Corsairs Voidscarred. That's such a weird name. I think they should be called Voidscarred Corsairs in my opinion, but either way, the Corsairs Voidscarred are the box set of Kill Team miniatures that was released with Games Workshop's Kill Team. These guys are Eldar pirates, is what they're supposed to be. They're kind of like a roguish band of bounty hunting mercenary pirates who can fight for both Eldar as well as Dark Eldar forces. And this box set specifically is available for Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you could use these miniatures in multiple gaming systems, and how you could use it to save yourself some money if you wanted to just buy one set of miniatures and use them for multiple game sets. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about how you could use your Corsairs Voidscarred in multiple game systems and save some money while doing so. Alright, so now that we're back with the Voidscarred Corsairs, or Corsair Voidscarred, which is a weirdly weird way to say that. But anyways, let's talk about exactly what gaming systems you can actually use these guys for. So originally, this Kill Team is actually originally designed for Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team, released by Games Workshop. There are rules, of course, that are associated with this Kill Team, and that way you can play in your campaigns of Kill Team for Warhammer 40,000 if you want to as well. So that's what obviously this box set was used for, originally intended for. But at the same time, you could also use this box set for Games Workshop's Warhammer 40,000 as well. And the reason why is because, like I said before, they can be used in both Eldar as well as Dark Eldar armies, and you could also use these guys for that kind of gaming system as well. Now, granted, you won't be able to play the larger scale battles with this box set, just because that's going to require much more miniatures to play in that. But since Games Workshop has released the Boarding Actions rule set from the Arcs of Omen for their latest installment for Warhammer 40,000 content, you can definitely use these guys in those small skirmish style battles that take place on board ships using the Boarding Actions rule set. So that's another game system that you can actually use these guys for as well. Another game system you could probably use them for is for Snarling Badger Studios' Space Station Zero. Space Station Zero is a single player to cooperative player campaign system where you have a crew of ship crews trying to go through the depths of Space Station Zero, and you could definitely use these guys for that. That is a miniatures agnostic game, so you could definitely use that for that, as well as a lot of games from one-page rules. You have Firefight as well as Grimdark Future, which were created by one-page rules. They're also miniature agnostic games as well. You could definitely use these guys for that. And that's just a handful of some of the gaming systems that you could use these for. So from this one box set, you could potentially play up to 4 different gaming systems right off the bat. Now, the one we're going to focus on the most on this one is that I think you could definitely use these guys for games of Necromunda. And that's exactly what this video is going to be talking about specifically. because as cool as these miniatures are in Kill Team, they would also be really cool to use in your games of Necromunda. Necromunda is a very stylistic game skirmish type game, and of course you could definitely use these guys in your games of Necromunda as well. In fact, there's actually basically two major gangs you could use this for. In my opinion, you could basically use them as a Venator gang. The Venator gangs are bounty hunter gangs that basically are assembled together. And the nice thing about those game systems is that they could take different styles of stats in order to represent what kind of individual fighters they are, or if they're Xenos, for example, like aliens, you know, what kind of things they could do that way. I could also see you using this gang as the delegation gang, which is known as a Cold Trader Outcast gang. For those of you guys who are longtime viewers of the channel, you notice that I've actually have a huge series that is dedicated to that aspect alone of actually using miniature, actually making gangs using Outcast rules. And the reason why is because the Outcast rule system for gangs is so diverse between using dramatic personae and delegations of the various guilds, noble houses, as well as criminal organizations, etc. You could just have this whole plethora of different options you can use for your gang. And so I do think that these guys would also make a really good example of a Cold Trader Outcast gang. Now, for those of you guys who are not familiar with Cold Traders are actually smugglers who sell illicit tech on Necromunda, both in terms of xenobiology as well as xenotechnology as well, and that's what they make their living off of. And so using these guys as, you know, pirates / raiders who sell illegal alien technology wouldn't be a far stretch that these guys could actually fulfill that role for your miniatures as well. So that's what we'll be talking about for the rest of the video in this one. We'll be talking about two different gang lists. We'll talk about how you can use the Voidscarred for making a Venator gang, as well as for making a Cold Trader Outcast gang. So we'll be right back after this. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the gang list that you can make with these guys for your games of Necromunda. So the first thing we're going to talk about real quick is the Voidscarred being used as a Venators gang. So as you can see right here, I have my list right over here on the right hand side, as well as the picture of the box set. That way I can point out exactly what individual fighter would represent what in the list. So let's go and talk about this real quick. So your Corsairs Voidscarred as a Venators gang, this would be a 1,000 credit list, and at the same time your primary skills would be shooting and combat, while your secondary skills would be savant as well as cunning. Because in a Venator gang, you get to choose your primary and secondary skills. So first of all, your Voidscarred Fell Arc, which is this guy over here with the flag on his back, he's going to cost you 225 credits. He's going to be a hunt leader. He's going to cost you 110 credits for that. You're giving him the shooting stats, that way he's got better ballista skill and a little bit better initiative as well. You equip this guy with mesh armor 15 credits, a plasma pistol for 50, and a power sword 50 as well, so that way he can do shooting and close combat very well, represented by the weapons that he's carrying in this scene here. And you're giving him the commanding presence skill, so that way he has larger group activations. Now from there, you're going to go with the Voidscarred Heavy Gunner. That's going to cost you 210 credits, which is basically either one of these two miniatures over here on the top. Now this person's going to be a hunt champion. It's going to cost 85 credits with shooter stats, so that way they have a good ballista skill as well as better initiative. Give him mesh armor 15 credits and a plasma gun for 100 credits. And a last pistol, let me fix that real quick, for 10 credits, because it's going to be his backup weapon just in case. And you give him the fast shot ability, so that way he can shoot twice with his plasma gun. After that, your Voidscarred Fate Dealer, which is this guy down here with a sniper rifle. That's going to be your second champion. He's going to cost you 210 credits. He's going to have, 170 credits. He's going to be costing 85 credits for the champion, giving him shooter stats with mesh armor for 15 credits. You're going to equip him the long rifle for 30 credits with an infrared sight on the long rifle for 40, and you give him the fast shot ability. That way he can shoot in pitch black conditions. He can also shoot in through smoke, and at the same time he also can shoot right past light cover as well. So this guy's gonna be very, very deadly, and he can shoot twice with that weapon as well. After that, you're going to have two characters. You're going to have a Voidscarred Kernathi, which is going to cost you 100 credits, and this guy is going to be either represented by this guy here with the Falcon. He's going to be a hunter. He's going to cost you 50 credits. You're going to give him shooter stats as well to give him that better ballista skill as well as that higher initiative rating. Give him mesh armor 15 credits as well as a last pistol for 10 credits and a chain sword for 25. So just use the power of imagination. This is a chain blade or a vibrating blade or something like that that can slice through people. After that, you got a Voidscarred Gunner. It's going to cost you 100 credits. It's going to be represented by this guy here in the middle with the gun, the rifle over here. That gunner is going to cost you 50 credits for the hunter, as well as the shooter stat line to give him a better ballista skill. You give that fighter mesh armor, as well as a las gun for 15 credits, and a hotshot las pack to make it strength 4 with minus R1 AP. Now, granted, you do lose the plentiful trait for the reload, but it's ammo check 4, so it's not as devastating. Pretty powerful way to get a strength 4 attack on there. And then lastly, you're going to have your Voidscarred Shade Runner, which is going to be represented by this guy over here with the twin blades. This guy's going to be a hunter with 50 credits. It's going to be a shooter stats with 15 credits for mesh armor, as well as a last pistol and twin paired sword and a sword. I'm sorry, a paired sword and a sword for 20 credits as well. And combined together, it's going to be 95 credits in total for this character as well. So because of that, what's going to happen is that you're going to have some leftover miniatures in this list. For example, this guy with the dueling pistols over here, this sorcerer looking guy, this one with the little charms, as well as one of these gunners over here, which is going to be nice because it's going to allow your gang to grow and develop, and you can use those guys as either fighters who promoted or fighters who have joined your gang, and of course you build it from that way. Now this you'll using these miniatures is give you a game that's worth 1,000 credits, and you have some leftover miniatures as well to help build your gang. And this is an example of you can use your Corsairs Voidscarred as a Venators gang in your games of Necromunda. Alright, so now we're back for the second list. Like I said before, this Corsairs box can be used for two different types of gangs, in my opinion. One of them, of course, is a Venator gang, and the other one, which I think is a better gang for this group, would be used as Cold Trader Outcast gangs, and this is going to cost you 1,000 credits for this list as well. And the reason why that is the case is because, like I said before, Cold Trader Outcasts are smugglers who sell illicit tech, alien technology, alien equipment, food, drugs, all kinds of stuff, animals in some cases. So these guys would be actually perfect for that. They'll have that kind of pirate kind of smuggler vibe going on with these guys, just like the Corsairs they're named after. Now this gang is going to cost you 1,000 credits for this one, so let's talk about what it consists of. First of all, the Voidscarred Felarch, which is this guy over here, that's going to be your leader. It's going to cost you 250 credits. This guy's going to be the cold trader of the gang, which is going to be from your delegation. It's going to be the leader of your gang. You're given the Mastermind archetype as well, and he's going to have the Step Aside and Overseer skill as base, and you're given the Munitioneer skill as part of his Mastermind archetype. And the reason why is because of the weapon that he's carrying. He's got Armor Weave armor, as well as a Sling Gun, Sled Knife, and Bio Booster. That Sling Gun does have a pretty high ammo save. Ammo check, so having that Munitioneer skill is going to allow you to re-roll that as well as any kind of exotic weapons that you want to give your gang, because they're cold traders and they can get access to alien technology. After that, you have your Voidscarred Heavy Gunner, which is going to be represented by either one of these two fighters up here in the top. That person's going to cost you 85 credits. They're going to be your gang's bosun, is what they're going to be, which is one of your champions as well. So I would probably go with something that kind of looks like a shotgun. I mean, I know these weapons look very much like alien tech because they're Eldar, but it's not some great stretch of the imagination. You can pretend that one of them is a shotgun. Now, for your Voidscarred Heavy Gunner, they're going to be a bosun. It's going to be one of your champions. You're going to give them the weird archetype, and they automatically come with dodge. But because they're a weird archetype, you're going to have them dedicate themselves to the Technomancy discipline, and they're going to have Techno Affinity, which allows them to reroll ammo rolls, and give them the Overcharge psychic power as well. Overcharge will actually give you +1 to your strength and +1 to your damage for your weapons, which is going to be really good because this guy's got mesh armor, a shotgun with solid scatter shot, which is meh most of the time, as well as a fighting knife. What Overcharge will do for a shotgun is actually make his solid slug shots worth 5 damage, and actually increases the damage output to, I believe, 3 instead. And since most of your targets will be less than toughness 5, it's going to bump to 4 damage for one solid slug shot. And not to mention, the scatter shot will also be increased by 2 as well, making a strength 4 scatter shot. So you get D6 wound rolls at strength 4, which is going to be really, really awesome as well. Very powerful ability on that shotgun using that overcharge ability. And fighting knife is meh, but that's perfectly fine. You're going to keep this guy paired up with your leader at all times to act as his bodyguard. After that, you're going to use your Voidscarred Fate Dealer, which is this guy down over here with the sniper rifle. He's going to cost you 150 credits. He's going to be your second Outcast champion in this gang. He's going to have the Gunslinger archetype with the Fast Shot rule. That's what you can put on him, so that way you can shoot twice. Once again, this guy will be armed with mesh armor as well as a long rifle with infrasight, so that way he can also shoot in pitch black conditions. He can shoot through smoke. He can also shoot at enemies that are hidden as well without having to suffer bonus penalties. And he's got a stub gun for a backup weapon. Now then, your Voidscarred Kernite Hunter, which is this guy over here, as well as your Kernathi. I believe the Kernathi is this guy with the I believe the Kernathi is this guy with the staff, I believe. I have to double check on that one. But anyways, 2 of your fighters in this group will be your Voidborn scum. So your Voidscarred Kernathi is going to cost you Hunter. It's going to cost you 150 credits. And your Voidscarred Kernathi is going to cost you 150 credits as well. They're both Voidborn scum number 1 and Voidborn scum number 2. They have 5 strength, 5 toughness. They have 3 wounds apiece. So they're not going to be, having the best equipment, but that's perfectly fine because they're super strong and they're also super tough as well with multiple wounds. Both of them will have flak armor, auto pistols, as well as fighting knives. I highly suggest that as the campaign develops, you buy them better handguns and better close combat weapons, so that way as they develop over time, they get tougher. Now at the same time, you're going to have your Voidscarred Gunner, which is going to be like this normal guy over here. He's going to be an Outcast Hive Scum, going to cost you 55 credits. He's got mesh armor as a last gun. Give him a hot shot power pack as soon as you can to get that strength 4 attack as well. Then you have your Voidscarred Starstorm Duelist. This is going to be this guy here with the 2 pistols. He's going to cost you 65 credits as well. He's going to be an Outcast Hive Scum with mesh armor as well as twin last pistols. Highly suggest you equip him with power shot power packs as soon as possible for both those guns, so that way you can cause all kinds of problems. And then lastly, your Voidscarred Shade Runner is going to cost you 80 points, which is this guy over here with the little knives all over the place. He's going to cost you 80 credits. It's going to be equipped with mesh armor as well as a chain sword as well as a last pistol. That's going to cost you 80 credits for that guy as well. And then lastly, your Voidscarred Soul Weaver, which is this guy over here with all the necklaces and stuff. That's going to be your gang's Rogue Doc for 50 credits. So he's going to be a hanger-on that you hire for your gang right off the bat, because Rogue Docs are very, very important, especially when it comes to critical injuries. They can save your fighters. The fact that it should always be the first hired gun you always recruit, because they have payoff dividends in saving your fighters' lives. So there you guys have it. This is what I would consider the Cold Trader Outcast gang using this box set, the Corsairs Voidscarred. Alright, so in conclusion, the Corsairs Voidscarred, which is the box set from Kill Team, can be used for multiple game systems as well. Not only can it be used for Warhammer 40,000 games, as well as boarding actions and Kill Team, you can use it in one-page rule type games as well, and more importantly, you could definitely use them for Necromunda. Like I said before, you can use them either as Venators or as a Outcast Cold Traders Outcast gang. I would probably use them the most just because they have that look going on about them. At the same time though, you could actually use them for a Noble House if you wanted to. For example, they would probably be pretty cool to use for House Catalyst, for example, which is the house that looks like the Insane Circus. You can kind of make these guys kind of look like that because they kind of look like Harlequins. You can just paint them up really fancy colors and make them look really crazy looking, or whatever you want to use them for. After all, this game is all about using your imagination, so if you want to proxy them as any kind of gang, you know, more power to you. Heck, you could even say they're a Van Sar gang if you want to go that far. I mean, as long as people are cool with it and your arbiter doesn't mind, go ahead. And if your arbiter does mind, tell them, you know, get a life, because, you know, it's a game and stuff gets expensive sometimes. But there you guys have it. This is my idea of what you guys could use these Corsair Voidscarred for multiple game systems, especially for Necromunda. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.